Blog Talk Radio.
Tuning in. My name is Mack, and this is On the Move. Today, I'm going to give you guys a little background on myself and explain why I started this podcast in the first place. Also, we're going to discuss the NSA censorship of myself and other people that have had the same issue. We're going to also talk about current events if we have time. And if anybody would like to call in, the guest call-in number is 619-924-0986. That's 619-924-0986. Okay, let's begin. My name is Mack Worley. I am a political talk show host, a YouTube personality, a blogger, a constitutional activist through things like open carry and protests such as impeach Obama events and anything else I can basically get out and do. Our website is OnTheMoveShow.com, Facebook.com/OnTheMoveShow, YouTube.com/OnTheMoveShow, Twitter.com/OnTheMoveShow. I have a blog at OnTheMoveShow.blogspot.com, and I have a merchandise store at CafePress.com/OnTheMoveShow. So that's a little bit about me. I am a veteran of the United States Air Force. I am going through a legal battle with open carry. If you want to hear the story, check out my YouTube or my website that I just listed, and all that information is on there. If you'd like to join the conversation here, the email address you can reach me at would be onthemoveshow@gmail.com. Okay, moving on. So why did I get started in a podcast? Why did I start a YouTube channel? What am I doing? What is this about? Very first thing is the mainstream media. The mainstream media does not cover a fair and balanced side of the news. So what I mean is they are allowing us to have a liberal, progressive type argument. We have very few, even the Republican side of the debate, such as Fox News, it doesn't cover all the news. I'm finding more and more that the alternative media is becoming the news source of media for me to get the best information from. So that's one reason. I don't feel like my voice is being heard, and there's no one out there speaking for me specifically. And I feel that there's probably a lot of you out there that are feeling the same way. And if you are, that may be why you're listening to me right now. I feel like our freedoms are being stripped away, our Constitution is being walked on, and security and safety is being used as an excuse to take away our freedoms. And, you know, we're being demonized. Patriot groups, Tea Party groups, open carry groups, gun owners, we're all being demonized in the mainstream media. But I want to make it clear, I'm not here to lead you. I'm not a leader, but I am here to inspire people to become leaders. So this is your job, is to get out there and get on the move. That's the reason why the program is named On the Move. And if you look at the logo, it's ON. That's the military term, Oscar Mike. It stands for We're on the Move. So if you ever hear anybody on the radio and they say we're Oscar Mike, that means that they are moving. So this program was designed to inspire you to get out, get off your butt, get off the couch, and get out and get active and do something in what you believe in. Whether or not you agree or disagree with what I'm doing, if you are doing something totally opposite and against me, you know what, I got respect for that because at least you're out doing something that you believe in. Now, moving on to the first story of today, I was recently contacted by a store that I had set up, Zazzle.com. I have a merchandise store, had a merchandise store that I'm going to be canceling here shortly on Zazzle, and I received an email from them after I put a product on there, and I'll go ahead and read the email to you. Dear On The Move Show, thank you for your interest in Zazzle.com, and thank you for publishing products on Zazzle. Unfortunately, it appears that your product, the No NSA mug, contains content that is in conflict with one or more of our acceptable content guidelines. We will be removing this product from the Zazzle marketplace shortly. Please help us make our content approval process better by taking this short survey. And they started listing details below, and the policy notes here on why my product was denied says, the design contains an image or text that may infringe on the intellectual property rights. We have been contacted by the intellectual property right owner, and we will be removing your product from the Zazzle marketplace due to infringement claims. Now let me just give you an example and a description here of what my product was. It is the three letters NSA with a circle and a line through it. So that's the product. The NSA is now claiming that they have complete copyright over the letters NSA. So with that same logic, anybody that uses the letters NSA either together or maybe even not together could be sued or could be infringing on the rights of the NSA. Now, first of all, that's bull. But second of all, it's not right. And this is less of a problem from the NSA, but more of a problem from Zazzle, which is why I'm not going to be using them in the future. Zazzle apparently has no backbone when it came to this. And even though I clearly didn't violate any kind of infringement of copyright because it was an original image, an original design, it had absolutely nothing to do with the NSA. I wasn't even changing their logo. I didn't have anything except for the three letters on it. So my response to this, I was very confused at first, and I actually sent them another email here. I said, Zazzle, this image is an original design. I don't understand how or why this is a copyright infringement issue. Can you please explain? Signed, On The Move Show. And they responded back, hello, Zazzler. Thank you for being a seller at Zazzler.com. And I'm going to skim this here. Unfortunately, it appears that your product does not meet Zazzle acceptable content guidelines. Specifically, your product contained content which infringes upon the intellectual property rights of the National Security Agency. This includes all products containing the agency's logo, full name, and its acronym, NSA. We have been contacted by legal representatives from the National Security Agency, and at their request to remove products which infringed upon their rights, and at their request to remove the products upon their rights. Anyway, they removed it from the store. I can't read right now. So Zazzle caved, and the problem with this here is that if we start allowing the government to censor us and take away our freedoms, all right, this is where it starts. It may seem small, and it really is. I mean, I could really care less about Zazzle, which is exactly why I moved to Cafe Press, because they appear to be better in this regard. So, by the way, if you want to get a shirt or some kind of merchandise that has the No NSA logo on it, feel free to check out my website, cafepress.com/OnTheMoveShow. I have designs on there, and you can get the T-shirt or the mug or whatever else kind of merchandise that you want that the NSA does not want you to have. So apparently this is something that has been going on. It's ongoing. I'm not the only one that this has happened to, and I was looking on Infowars.com, Alex Jones conspiracy theory stuff, but this is fact. The NSA has done this for other people, and they have been going around systematically removing people's free speech from the Internet. Anything that contains a parody or their name, the letters, anything like that is being removed from the Internet. So keep that in mind. This is very Gestapo type tactics that the NSA is using, and we do have a freedom of speech, and we're allowed to use their logo in parody. We're also allowed to criticize them, and if they are going around and restricting people's right to talk about them in a negative light or at all, then I mean, they're infringing upon our First Amendment right. Like I said, this happened to somebody before, and this person is in the process of litigation. I believe he's suing them for an infringement of his First Amendment right. So I'll follow that story, and I want to see how that goes. It's very interesting to me, and it should be very interesting to you as well. So anyway, if you'd like to comment on that, like I said, email me at onthemoveshow@gmail.com and let me know what you think in regards to that. By the way, if you don't know the background of the NSA, the National Security Agency, let me go ahead and just give you a brief background on it. The NSA, first of all, is the National Security Agency. Why don't I like the NSA? Well, first of all, they are spying on Americans. They've been spying on Americans for years, and, you know, it's been one of those things that people didn't know for sure, but now that Edward Snowden released his leaked documents from the NSA, we now know for sure that they are spying on our emails, our texts, our phone calls. Basically, any and all human electronic communications are being data mined in these big data mining centers that can hold yottabytes of information. I don't know how accurate this is, but I heard a rumor that if you take those little thin iPads and you stack them up, if you stack them up all the way to the moon, that is a yottabyte. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I read that in an article somewhere. Anyway, the NSA is now basically snooping in on every aspect of your life. And though you may feel that this is not an issue, you may have nothing to hide, this could be used against you down the road. They can make somebody look like a guilty person based off of actions from the past that they can dig up. And though they may not be using what you're doing right now against you, if you are ever being brought up on charges or something, they can get a warrant and go through your entire history of online communication, phones, phone calls, text messages. And we're not just talking about the transactional data that our president seems to think that he can tell us is what's going on. Edward Snowden has leaked this information, and we know now for fact that this is going on, as well as we're also spying on foreign countries, the leaders of foreign countries, and this has been a new and interesting scandal that I've been following recently, and the president is trying to basically play it off like it's no big deal. So is the White House. In either case, these are the reasons why I don't like the NSA. And you probably shouldn't either, because they're violating your Fourth Amendment right that protects you against unlawful seizures. So, all right, I'm moving on here. We're going to move on to a topic that I'd like to quickly discuss, and this is basically a movie review for White House Down. I just watched this movie last night, and I was really enjoying the movie. You know, it's one of those guilty pleasures I have, action flicks, and most of them typically are the same kind of thing. You know, that they're all kind of mindless, fun. However, I'm watching White House Down, and if you don't know the synopsis, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, this is a spoiler alert. During White House Down, the Channing Tatum, he is a security guy for the Secret Service, and he's watching the Speaker of the House. He's like in charge of his security, and in this movie, he goes to an interview at the White House to try to become a Secret Service member for the President of the United States, and then basically all hell breaks loose. So these people are trying to capture the president, and I'm not going to ruin it all for you, but at one point here, they started doing a synopsis on the people who are involved in the attack, and they're doing their background. And what really, really bothered me and stuck out in my mind is the way that they linked the very first guy. He was a right-winger, is the specific word that they said, right-winger, okay? So meaning Tea Party, Republican, Patriot, stuff like that. And then the very next guy, they linked him with a white power hate group. So they're basically lumping in, white power hate groups with Tea Party, Republicans, probably gun owners, anybody like that. And all these guys were also former military. So at the same time, this is an affront to our military veterans. Now, I, being a military veteran myself, I take offense to that. I don't know how you all feel, but I serve my country proudly, and I love my country. I don't have any hate in my heart for anyone. So, this really offended me. And when I saw it, it instantly hit me, and I was upset. So I wonder if anybody else had noticed that, or if it was just me. Anyway, the movie was all right. I mean, all the action was good, with the exception of the fact that some of it was very unrealistic. But that's what you get when you watch an action movie. And then obviously the ridiculousness towards right-wingers. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on again here. Did anybody catch that 60 Minutes report on Benghazi? That was very, very interesting. I just watched that today. Apparently, they had security advisors that were in Benghazi, in Libya, that were screaming about how bad the security situation was in Benghazi. They had these Libyan militias there that were supposed to provide the armed security, and when our security people came in to do reviews on them, they realized that these people were not going to fight. They were just going to run away. These people had no interest in protecting Americans. They had been saying this repeatedly over and over and over again, and it had gotten ignored. And then when the attack happened, they did run away. The Libyans did not stay to protect them. It's really unfortunate that this was overlooked because, all these lives were lost. And, it's crazy, too, because we already had intelligence that they were going to attack us. It was already known because they used the tactic that they have used before in the past, and that tactic was to announce 3 locations in which they were going to attack. They were going to attack 2 other locations that they listed. Excuse me. I think one of them was a British ambassador they tried to assassinate. I can't remember what the other first one was. And then the next one was the American embassy in Benghazi. So what did we do about that? We didn't do anything. In fact, we didn't have any real armed security to speak of in the embassy. There was security that was in the CIA annex that was a few miles down the road, but not anything that could withstand a full-fledged attack. They were being attacked by up to 60 members of Al-Qaeda in a city that was just overgrown with Al-Qaeda, and no security was sent there to prevent this attack. We knew that it was going to come because they warned us ahead of time that they were going to attack. And then they attacked the other 2 targets on their list of 3 that they said that they were going to attack. So they already attacked 2 of the 3 targets they said. So it's pretty obvious that they were meaning business, that they were going to attack us. So anyway, when the call came in and Benghazi was attacked, apparently no help came. So Americans were left to die. They were left on their own. Now keep this in mind, all right? Think about this. We actually had more people that were guarding our monuments in Washington during the shutdown than came to help our American citizens in Benghazi. I don't know if that upsets you guys as much as it does me, but I'm telling you, we have our priorities all out of whack. Okay, so the next subject here in the news I'd like to talk about would be Obamacare and the website debacle. As many of you know, the website has been having a series of glitches, and if you can't tell, I'm using quoting fingers right now. The website, people aren't able to get on, and the numbers that they've been releasing of it showing how many people have been signed up are totally inaccurate. They've been including people that are signing up for Medicaid in those numbers, so it makes it look like more people are signing up than actually are. So they're very deceptive in what they're doing with this. Regardless, Obamacare is the #1 killer of jobs in America. So with that in mind, why are we still trying to do this here? Why haven't we actually defunded Obamacare? Why is that such a pipe dream down the line? I know Ted Cruz and Mike Lee, they were trying to start a movement to defund Obamacare, and we had the Republican Party that's basically turned their back on them, and the other Republicans in the House that actually supported the defunding of Obamacare, they really didn't want to do it. They were kind of forced into it from the American people. Honestly, I do think that Ted Cruz, he has a very good shot at becoming the next president of the United States because he stood up and actually tried to do something about Obamacare. And I think that a lot of people are going to resonate with that message. I think that's going to really bring people, into a mindset of wanting to vote for him and seeing that he's willing to fight for the people, even at the risk of losing everything, because he's going up against a Republican establishment, and they are not happy about it. I can promise you that there's going to be some retribution politically for him. But, if we the people support him, then it's possible that, he could be the next president of the United States. And honestly, I believe that he has a really good shot at that. So, regardless, Obamacare costing jobs in America. And if you're not sure how, then let me quickly just give a quick rundown, a brief one here. Obamacare has an employer mandate that is yet to be actually mandated yet, because Obama has basically decided he's not going to enforce that, which he doesn't have the authority to do, because he can't make the legislation as the executive branch, as the president of the executive branch. He can't make legislation. He can only execute the legislation that's made from Congress. However, he's deciding what laws he wants to enforce and what laws he doesn't. So the employer mandate has been pushed off for a year. In doing this, it's giving the employers time to look at what's going on, the thousands of pages of Obamacare. They're hiring people to explain it to them and how it's going to affect their business. The issue is, after employees work 30 hours, they're considered full-time under Obamacare. So Obama has mandated that employers are going to be required to pay for any employees that work over 30 hours. And if they don't pay for that, they have to pay a tax or a fine, depending on how they're explaining it. And that, I believe that tax is $3,000 per employee. So a lot of employers are finding out that they cannot afford to pay for the health care for their employees. So what they're doing is they're cutting their hours. They may hire more employees, but they are actually cutting hours. So people go down to under 30 hours a week, a week. Now, I don't know about you, but I would personally rather not have my hours cut in that case. And, these business owners, they have to do what they have to do. It's not greedy capitalism. It's not them, trying to screw over the little guy. It's them trying to keep their doors open. And, this is a really rough economic time. I'm not really certain why the president seems to think it's a good idea to do something that so drastically affects small businesses, and just business enterprises in this country, period. We're trying to create jobs, and he's doing something that's actually cutting hours drastically across the board. Not to mention, there's also a certain amount of employees that after you reach a certain amount, you have to give them all health care coverage as well. So you see these small businesses cutting the employee numbers that they have down as well as cutting the man hours that they're allowing the ones that they have left on staff to work. This is drastically hurting the economy, and it's fact now that Obamacare is the number one job killer in America. So, if you are looking for an alternative, what's the alternative? Why haven't the Republicans come out with an alternative? Well, you know what? My answer to the alternative, here it is, everyone: free markets. Free markets. Make everything, all the taxes even across the board. Allow us to buy insurance across state lines. Open it up. Allow us to actually make these insurance companies compete. This is how we allow the free market to work. There is no alternative to socialized medicine, because socialized medicine is awful. Socialized medicine is the footsteps to tyranny. This is one of the very first things that Hitler did when he got into power. Now, I know that may sound ridiculous, but this is how you wake up in a country that is not the country you went to bed in. You wake up one day and your country is totally controlled. Every aspect of your life. You have the NSA spying on you, listening to your phone calls, your emails, your text messages. You have the government telling you, where you can go to see a doctor, and that the doctor has to see you no matter what, which is not really a principle of freedom, because now that doctor loses a choice and you lose a choice. When it comes to the tyranny that we're seeing every day, we're being stripped of our freedoms little by little, and it's happening very, very incremental. They're taking small little steps, and if we're okay with this, we should be okay with the next thing they take. I'm here to tell you that I am not okay with them taking away my freedoms. I'm not okay with them walking all over the Constitution, and I hope that you're not either. If you stand with me, let me know how you feel. Email me at onthemoveshow@gmail.com, and let me know your take on this. I'll read your emails. And don't forget, during the next broadcast, you can call in and let me know how you feel. If you like today's broadcast, I'll be doing this broadcast weekly, probably every Sunday. I've yet to actually line down exactly what day of the week I'm going to be doing this and what time. But once I do and I figure it out, I'm going to be doing it at the same time every week. So I hope that you guys tune in, and I hope to hear from you guys. And let me know what you're thinking, because the whole point of this broadcast is to reach out to people and create a dialogue between us. So I would rather have a dialogue than a monologue, but I'll do what I have to do. So regardless, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and thank you very much. And as always, know your rights, assert your rights, get on the move.